So they cast it. Now they were not able to haul it in because of the quantity. That disciple whom Jesus loved, therefore, said to Peter, "It's the Lord." Then when Simon Peter heard that it was the Lord, he put on his outer garment, for he was stripped for work, and threw himself into the sea. The other disciples came in the boat, dragging the net full of fish, for they were not far from the land, but about 100 yards off. So you measure it not from there 100 yards out, from here 100 yards out. Not a whole lot further than where the lake was taking the photograph there. So it's very close in this area. When they got out on land, they saw a charcoal fire in place. And what was on the charcoal? Fish. Fish. Before they get there with the fish. So the Lord had done some fishing himself, right? And on it and bread. Jesus said to them, "Bring some of the fish that you just caught." So Simon Peter went aboard, hauled a net ashore full of large fish. The tilapia. 153 of them. And altogether, and although there were so many, the net was not torn. Jesus said to them, "Come and dine. Come and have breakfast." Now, none of the disciples dared ask him, "Who are you?" They knew it was the Lord. It was after the resurrection, and they were still just in awe and amazement. Jesus came and took the bread and gave it to them, and so with the fish. This was now the third time that Jesus was revealed to his disciples after he was raised from the dead.
Where did he go after that?
I'll read one thing. When they had finished breakfast, Jesus said to Simon Peter, "Simon, son of John, do you love me more than these?" And that's what happened here. And he said to them, "Yes, Lord. You know what? What was the word? Phileo. You know I like you, love you with a phileo love." He said to him, "Feed my lambs." He said to him a second time. Remember the 3 times you mentioned? He's going to say it 3 times. Confirm this. "Simon, son of John, do you love me?" He said, "Yes, Lord. You know that I'll phileo you." He said to him, "Tend my sheep." Now both times Christ had spoken, he said, "Do you agape me?" The third time, he said to him, "Simon, do you phileo?" You've been saying phileo. Now I want to know, do you even phileo? And he said to him, "Lord, why are you asking me? You know everything." He had seen him read minds. He had seen him saying in the temple and other places what the people were thinking. He had read minds many times and said he knew what they were saying and thinking at the time before they happened. So he already knew. Peter was convinced. He said, "Lord, you know everything. And so you know my heart, and you know I phileo." Jesus said to him, "Feed my sheep. Truly, truly, I say to you, when you were young, you used to dress yourself and walk wherever you want. When you're old, you'll stretch out your hands, and another will dress you and carry you where you do not want to go." This he said to show by what kind of death he was to glorify God. And after this he said to him, "Follow me." Peter turned and saw the disciple whom Jesus loved, John, following them. The one who had been reclining at the table close to him and said, "Lord, who is it that's going to betray you?" When Peter saw him, he said to Jesus, "Lord, what about this man?" Isn't it interesting? We're always thinking about the other person. I don't say. Boy, I've heard people say before when the preacher finished, if so-and-so had been here, they really needed that. Lord, what about this man? Jesus said to him, If it's my will that he remains till I come, what's that to you? It's my will that he lives 2,000 years, what's that to you? You follow me. You follow me. So the saying spread abroad among these brothers that the disciple was not to die. Amazing how we twist things and turn things. I've said things from the pulpit before and found out that I didn't say that I said something else, which I didn't say. Fortunately, I had a tape of it. If it is my will that he remain, and so they said that disciple was not to die, yet Jesus did not say to him he was not to die. But he said, if it is my will that he remain till I come, what would that be? This is the disciple who wrote this book, who wrote these things and bears witness, and who has written these things, and we know that his testimony is true. There are many other things Jesus did. You're going to read about and hear about this week. There it doesn't say, because this is the end of the book of John, unless one of the synoptics says anything about it. But there were many other things that Jesus did, were every one of them written in a book. I suppose the world itself could not contain the books that would be written. John and I were talking in our room last night. He was saying, what a difference it seemed because of time. Everybody walked. It would take days to get places. And we don't have record of all that. Jesus went from here to here in one verse. We don't know that was several days. Well, did they talk during those days? Yeah. They said things. Things happened. Things went on. We just have, if you were to take everything that is recorded in the three synoptics, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and in John, which is not one of the synoptics, but in the 4 books, if you were to take everything that's recorded and actually put it out day by day, because many of those are over the same event, you'd have actually very few days of the 3 years of his public ministry that are actually recorded. And John says you couldn't write enough books to tell you everything that went on. You will never be able to explain all that went on this trip to your friends, right? Can't do it. John said there was so much more. Wouldn't you love to have been with him? Ooh, I know I would. And a place like this is really one of my favorite places, because I think it was in this area that this did take place. I think that this is very authentic. This is where the disciples would fish. This is where those words one day rang out. Aramaic, right from the spot. The point is to ask yourself that question. Do you love him? Do you love him? With an undying, committed love. Take a few minutes, get alone, ask yourself that question. Spend some time talking to the Lord.